Welcome to the first episode of Uvaga Uvaga, brought to you by efcUnited, the home of the beautiful game. Today we begin our countdown to World Cup 2026 from our home studios at the museum. Over the next 52 weeks, we will give you the rundown on 10 teams who will definitely make it to the World Cup and 10 teams who will definitely not make it to the World Cup. We will also highlight three national teams who will make it to the World Cup because of its expanded format, and three teams who will not make it to the World Cup that everyone would love to see in the World Cup. Don't be disillusioned if you hear that your team will not make it to the 2026 World Cup in North America, because we also give viable solutions that teams can use to improve their chances of making it to future World Cups. This will be a 2-year journey and experience that is worth the wait. Prior to kickoff of the first game of the 2026 World Cup, we will tell you who will most likely win the 2026 World Cup. So, let us begin the journey. Today, we are going to talk about Taiwan. For the record, in international sporting competitions, Taiwan is referred to as Chinese Taipei. I know, it's complicated. Taiwan is in Southeast Asia, 51 miles from the east coast of southern mainland China. Japan sits to the north, the Philippines sit to the south, and the Pacific Ocean borders the east coast. The main island of Taiwan was formed by the collision of tectonic plates and belts. When the Yangtze Plate and the Okinawa Plate collided with the Philippine Mobile Belt, it forced the eastern two-thirds of Taiwan upward while forming five different mountain chains that have peaks as high as 12,000 feet. The western third of the island, where most of the population lives, is primarily a flat plain. The tectonic activity that created the beautiful island that is sometimes referred to as Formosa is still active today, with residents feeling slight trembles a few times a year on average. Taiwan is almost the same size as the U.S. state of Maryland and roughly the same size as the country of Belgium. The capital is Taipei City. The total population is roughly 24 million, and the largest ethnic group are the Han, making up 96% of the population. The primary languages spoken are Mandarin, Hokkien, and Hakka. The economy is export-driven and dominated by small to medium-sized enterprises and a technology supply chain. The government is a semi-presidential republic. Settled by farmers of the Daping culture nearly 6,000 years ago, Taiwan has been a key component of Southeast Asian maritime trade for over 1,000 years. The Chinese of the Song dynasty as well as the Ming dynasty actively traded with Taiwan. The Dutch East India Company was active in the 1600s exporting rice and sugar from Taiwan. During the Qing dynasty, the Han population increased significantly as numerous mainland Chinese were attracted to the fertile plains of Taiwan. From the late 1800s to the mid 20th century, the Japanese were active in Taiwan developing infrastructure and industrializing Taiwan to aid in the development of Japan. In 1912, Chinese rebels toppled the Qing dynasty and established the Republic of China. Now, this is where things get a little hairy. At the end of World War II, there was a civil war underway in China between the nationalists and the communists. The communists won the war and established the People's Republic of China on the mainland of China. The nationalists, along with a large army of nearly 2 million, retreated with their government, the Kuomintang, or KMT, to Taiwan and made Taipei the temporary capital of the Republic of China with the intent of regrouping and taking control of mainland China. Now, to the verdict. Taiwan will not make it to the World Cup in 2026, even with an expanded field of 48 teams. Simply put, Taiwan is not one of the top 48 teams in the world. However, to put it in context, The Asian Football Confederation, AFC, will likely get 8 teams in, maybe as many as 10. Taiwan is not the top 8 teams in the Confederation and is not even ranked in the top 16. They are currently ranked 29th out of the 47 teams in the Asian Football Confederation. But that is not the bad news, that is the expected news. The good news, however, is that if Asia is guaranteed 8 slots with a possible 10 slots total for the 2030 World Cup, Taiwan can easily position itself to be in the top 10. There are 6, possibly 7 teams in the AFC that are just stronger than Taiwan. Outside of the top 7 and the bottom 7, there's a great deal of parity between teams 8 and 39. Taiwan has a lot of work to do to crack the top 12, but moving from 29 to 13 is doable with the right strategy. The small island nation of nearly 24 million has overcome far more significant hurdles. Taiwan simply must chip away at a mediocre field and strategically catapult themselves into the top 12. This feat, although it may seem insurmountable to some, is not too big for little Taiwan. Let's run through a brief Taiwan can-do history because sometimes we need to look at our past accomplishments to remind us that no mountain is insurmountable. In 1661, the warrior Prince Koxinga retreated to Taiwan and defeated the Dutch. In 1912, the Xinhai Revolution toppled the Qing dynasty and formed the Republic of China with Dr. Sun Yat-sen as president. In 1949, the Kuomintang retreated from mainland China and established the Republic of China on Taiwan. After a series of successful land reforms in the 1960s and 70s, Taiwan's economy expanded rapidly. In the 1980s, light and nimble manufacturing resulted in additional economic growth. In the 1990s, Taiwan transitioned to a democracy, and the technological advances of the 1990s, coupled with capital generated from the manufacturing sector, positioned Taiwan as a central cog in the global economy. In the 2000s, Moore's Law, silicon, and digital technology collided like tectonic plates and forced Taiwan and a microchip to unprecedented heights. Taiwan continues to dominate the high-capacity chip market as it continues to rise and search for the next wave to ride from continent to continent. Now that we have looked back at our accomplishments, we must come up with a plan to catapult us forward. We have assembled a panel of future experts to help us come up with a viable plan. First, we develop talent at the youth level by promoting five-a-side street soccer, hosting U12 through U17 national team pipeline tournaments, and strategically positioning talented young players in competitive regional domestic leagues like South Korea, Japan, and Turkey. The goal is to develop a 10-year plan that is broken up into 2 parts that raises the competitiveness of the national team by consistently making them one of the top teams in the AFC. Second, we must develop an identity. Today we have the future CEO of the Lingnan Vitae Group, Raymond Chu. Every great team must have their own playing style. Taiwan should adopt the CEO style. Everyone is capable and everyone is empowered. You must be first to the ball and master the triangles by perfecting pursuit angles. Players must work together to create the Taiwan web, where everything gets stuck in the web. Then we keep possession of the ball. The CEO style empowers each player to be able to fast break out of the web. We use computer models and algorithms to teach players where to be and how to quickly get into position while strategically interchanging positions. CEOs must be disciplined and must dictate to the opposition what to do with the ball and then exploit them with the best counter move available. Every player must be capable of doing what he is called on to do and to know his alignment and assignment. Third, we must develop a look. We have brought in future CEO of Cockney Couture, Jorge Chen, to give us insight on the matter. We must develop and promote a team that is tactically and aesthetically appealing to fans. We must develop a team that is what the average football fan around the globe aspires to be. We use K-pop style development camps to develop and promote CEOs that everyone wants to be like. We have the button-down Oxford grad CEO anchoring the back line and a super smart Stanford dropout who refuses to wear a tie holding down the middle. We have the creative genius who never went to college and yet his startup was purchased for billions of dollars after the first 14 months of being in business as our striker. And to hold things down at the goalie position, we have the CEO who inherited the family business. He may not always be disciplined, but he will make calculated decisions. These CEOs are uniquely themselves and have all embraced the CEO lifestyle. Our players need to be global brand ambassadors who use their CEO T-pop style to supplement their playing wages. CEO T-pop is fun and energetic. This is how we get butts in the seats, eyes on the screen, and establish a national identity that is known all over the world. The entire nation must get behind the team. The atmosphere of home games for the national team must change. New stadiums should be constructed and older stadiums should be modernized with concessions that enhance the fan experience. Since Taiwan has a highly urbanized population, street soccer venues should be constructed nearby major arenas. For home games, pep bands should be positioned outside stadiums to hype up the crowd as they enter venues and to bring the party outside the stadium into the stadium to heighten the overall fan experience. Taipei Chinese CEO swag should be encouraged and promoted. Stadiums should have numerous entry and exit points so that fans can quickly and safely find their seats. Larger display screens should be added so that there is never a bad seat in the house. There must be a state-of-the-art stadium in Kaohsiung and Taipei that can host 40 to 60,000 fans with covered seating and a pitch that is suitable to host international matches and be able to respond to nuanced Taiwan weather conditions. Remember, stadiums should always center on form and function. However, the objective is to create the ultimate fan experience. We have brought in the future CEO of the Taiwan Business Roundtable, Forrest Lin. The team must make use of cutting-edge technology to monitor players and to assist coaches in developing strategies. Partnering with local tech companies can provide new opportunities to develop sports-related products and services. The national team should be powered by the cutting-edge technologies that Taiwan exports all over the globe. In addition, the national team should develop partnerships with Taiwan-based firms that have an international presence to increase the global profile of both parties, similar to the partnerships between Adidas and the German national team or Nike and USA national teams. For example, when the Taiwan national team makes the World Cup in 2030, they can wear warm-up suits that prominently feature the Giant brand logo as the Giant brand rolls out a new series of lifestyle cruiser bikes that promote CEO swag. The ad could feature CEO grannies with swag cruising up on their bikes to their grandkids' street soccer tournament. Talented footballers should aspire to play for the national team, to train at their state-of-the-art facilities, and receive the physical and mental support that they can only experience at national team facilities. World-class resources from facilities to trainers to nutrition and technology must be used to develop world-class athletes. Taiwan has everything it takes to put together a world-class football team: the infrastructure, the capital, and a large population. The government just needs to get behind the team and support the team. Taiwan, what are you waiting for? Thanks for tuning in to the first edition of the World Cup 2026 Countdown. Be sure to tune into our channel for our follow-up show.